And once again, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Monday. Garry Redmond here at your service, and welcome to episode 136 of New York Red Bulls Assessor Group, the podcast. Well, let's talk about what did not happen in Atlanta over the weekend. Goals, as in nobody scored. Good news is the other team did not score. So, although a lot of holding, nothing happened. There's lots to talk about. So we're going to talk about the Atlanta FC versus New York Red Bulls, the match review. And, of course, after the break, Nick and Mark are going to actually lead you guys get yourself ready for the rematch of the Eastern Conference Final between the Red Bulls and Orlando City SC at the Cathedral. So it's going to be a real fun afternoon. No, we did not win the weekend, so unfortunately you're not going to hear the horn. But if you happen to miss the live show, which is happening right now, okay, you can be able to catch the recording on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All of our episodes for Spotify.com. All of our episodes are uploaded the very next day, so you don't have to miss anything, and it's also on demand. Of course, more importantly, we also say, let us know how we're doing. We welcome any feedback, good or bad. This is your show. So if you have something to say about our podcast, and if you want to know any questions about it or anything else, drop us an email. rbdgthepodcast@gmail.com. That's rbdgthepodcast, one word, @gmail.com. So we didn't win the weekend because City won their home opener versus the team that you're going to be facing on Saturday. And so no harm. They won the weekend, and that's all there's to it. But we are going to talk about what is this team is going to be after 3 games in, and so far, so good. I mean, you only scored 1 goal, gave up, you scored 2 goals, gave up 1 loss, 1 win, 4 points. Not bad, but of course, naturally, that's why we're here to basically talk about that. And for that, let me bring in, of course, two of my two co-hosts. What else is Mark Coates and Nicholas Lianos? Gentlemen, how was the weekend?
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse. Okay, you're gonna have to explain that one to me, Coach.
Well, actually, it wasn't bad considering the walking wounded that our team has become.
Yes,
we managed to come home with a point.
11 guys. I don't remember ever having that many double digits. I mean, that's an indictment on the training staff, ain't it?
Yeah.
I'm like,
or how long we've been carrying some of this dead weight.
I'm like, what are you guys not doing? I mean, most of the time when we ever hear about injuries, you usually have it in the game. 6 of those guys got those injuries during training. So I'm wondering just how hard is this training that they're going through?
It's mind-boggling to know that we have that many guys who can't play at this moment. I'm confused. Not that I see Tim Parker being a huge piece to this puzzle.
Not yet, anyway.
He's more of an insurance policy at this point, in case Hack can't cut it. Is my guess. But he's been listed 2 weeks and in a row saying illness, undisclosed illness. But you got to remember too. I mean, Goma's been nothing but an injury. All right, for the last 2+ years.
I'm not giving up on him, despite the fact you keep telling me to. I'm not giving up on him.
All right, well, that's again, I just don't know that this kid's ever going to really, get back to where he was when he first came up. You got Duncan, who's recovering from an injury. All right. So that one's sort of understandable. But beyond that, you think about, I mean, how many of these guys, got a knock in practice? How hard do we practice that these guys are getting this beat up?
Apparently hard. I mean, I'm thinking about the days with Struber, who was to play murder ball during training, and it was. I mean, some of the players I asked, during when he was the head coach, I said, just how rough it is out there in practice, and he's like, well, rough. I'm like, rougher than the game, rough? Didn't give me an answer, just gave me a look, and it confirmed what I was asking. I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
right. So when I say murder ball, I'm murder ball. I mean, and of course, people were wondering why our bench was so thin during the time when he was running the squad. I mean,
Because you ran everyone into the ground.
There's no subs either on the Schreiber. The subs were never used by Schreiber. Substitutions were barely used. I think Davis played 20 games straight without a sub at one point on the Schreiber.
right.
Like the guy is out of the guy can't move. Take him off.
Right.
It was rough watching some of those games. It just, and I'm just shaking my head either at home or in the stands, and I'm thinking, does he not understand how many subs he has now? Because the whole COVID protocol changed the substitution rule, and I think it's been for the better, and I think that's part of why FIFA has left it in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Lisa's not wrong.
No, body checked.
Yeah.
Trucks.
I mean,
I'm really worried about this
over.
kid. I'm
is he going to make it to the end of the season? At the rate he's getting run over.
I mean, dude's
he's
pile driving this poor kid through the damn turf. At one point, I wanted to jump out of the stands and go get the guy did this because I was like, what the? Oh, you want to be a thug? Okay. I was like, dudes, it's crazy how this dude gets body slammed. And yet, he's like, thank you, sir. May I have another? I mean, I give this guy my heart. I mean, and it just,
Yeah, we're PG, so I can't say what I was going to say, but
yeah,
I was like, yeah, no, it's just I mean, I saw him. I mean, you and I both know that the turf at MSU is not exactly forgiving.
Nope.
And he got run over in MSU playing for Red Bull 2, and he got up. And I saw Ben Mines, by the way, a little plug for the DC scum, but he started with Loudon this past week, and I mean, I liked watching him play. His one and only appearance, he got a goal on opening day, and that was it. Because
got
two weeks, 3 weeks later,
got a goal versus Seattle, and you didn't see him anymore.
Well, because he dislocated his shoulder.
Right.
That's because we heard him. You could have heard him scream at home. That's how loud he screamed, and he hit that turf. It just that concrete is not forgiving.
No.
So.
I lost my knees. I lost my baseball career. Turf.
And look at Roland Mitchell's is still recovering. Why did he turf? Dude scores 4 goals in the first half, and then takes a bad turn on the turf.
Yeah,
twist his knee, and then say goodbye for the rest of his season for 24. So it's tough. It's you look at overall. We're not talking about how well we played or how well we didn't play. We're talking about injuries, because that's what really was the outcome of this game. We didn't have our offensive weapons, and you can't score, you can't win.
Okay, well, let's talk about the game in particular. We knew that there was 11 guys. We had 11 guys basically on the injured reserves list, replacing Atlanta once again. You know how those guys play us, especially on the road. They had weapons. They got Almiron back. And for the most part, folks were really concerned about this game. But if there was one, how should I say, silver cloud to this, as Nick pointed out, the coach actually knew what he was doing by sending out all those young kids. And we talked about this, Nick. And then when I put out the lineup, you were like, thought so.
Yeah, he was 10 of 11. He was 10 of 11.
10 and 11.
I didn't expect Dylan to start, but hey, listen, it worked. You got to give Sandro a lot of credit. I almost said Struber on almost.
Forget him. Forget him, Mr. Murderball.
Sandro brought out. He still played the 5 in the back, and he played a little condensed. But you saw moments of what we were gonna be, because Chupo's starting to settle in, and you could see what he's capable of, especially in the hold-up end. You saw that play. You saw the defense work as a unit, everybody covered each other. They weren't like out of place, running back, looking around. They knew what they were doing. And the midfield was after the 10-minute mark, reeled it in, got together, and they were ready to go pounce the ball forward. Now, if we had healthy bodies to go forward, we would have been much better. But we did what we did based on Janjar played his first game since the preseason. Julian Hall at 16 had his first start with the club in the MLS game. He's still 16. He's come down.
Yeah,
everybody was.
That was kind of a little disappointing that everyone in the group was yelling and screaming about this kid.
In the group chat on the thing, he should have taken that. He is 16.
That's what I said. Okay,
he is 16 years old.
Let me defend the group a little bit here. Okay, this is what I said during the game thread. I said, "Okay, kid. I mean, you should have took the shot. You had."
Yes, you should.
You know, you should have took the shot. You had your keeper backpedaling. He's already, a
little
compromised. Go after him. Okay. Do your juke, do your deke, whatever the case is, him, and power through. Okay. He didn't. He slowed up, tossed the ball to actually no one, and I think he realized. That's when he realized, I should have made that shot.
I didn't mind the cutback because he did go back to his left foot, and I think he wanted to pull the trigger, and then overthought. He goes, maybe I should pass it because I'm still 6. I should give Chupo the opportunity. But dude, kid, you know something? I think everybody has confidence in you. Just let it rip, bro.
I'm sure Chupo probably yelled at him throughout the din. Shoot!
I'm not going to go overly crazy on the. He's 16 years old, making his first start on the team. Besides that one League Cup game he got, he's still only got in the MLS. He's still got under 200 minutes, so he's not even had two. He's still in the 2 full games as a pro. Relax, everybody, take a chill. He's going to be fine. We're going to need him in the month of May because we got 8 games in that month. We're going to need bodies.
We're going to need bodies.
We're going to need people, and he's got to be one of the people that need to produce. So.
All right. Speaking of the game itself, of course, naturally there was not much as far as offense, but midfield and defense was definitely something to talk about because anytime Atlanta tried to do an attack, it died because basically or nothing happened after that. So of course, naturally, I'm sure I'm going to hear the complaints. Gary, why are you showing replays? Doing a recap when there's no goals because we're contractually obligated to do so. That's why. So, of course, here's the match recap in its entirety, and we'll talk more about that after the match.
It is Atlanta United in the red and black. You get it underway, attacking from right to left. Williams immediately with a long ball forward and headed clear by Ayla. So used to seeing Red Bull New York starting with that long ball forward. A fan favourite as well, Forsberg. That could have been a free kick. Referee's allowed play to continue. Dean Gregerson, strong challenge. That will be a free kick. Valencia, and the referee is going to go to the no-puck here. Another yellow. Lovely little reverse ball from Moranchuk. Moranchuk gets wrong side. Slish. Almiron, good football. There's Edwards with the ball across. And it was Moranchuk who'd made the run in deep. 6-man move from Atlanta. Forces the first save out of Coronel. But Mayumba. That one's let run. Edwards, another chance to cross. That one takes a deflection, far post. It was the late arriving Latte who almost got on the end of it. Actually wears his mom's maiden name on his jersey as well. Almiron. Edwards made a couple of really good runs. Almiron almost on the second ball. They didn't clear it initially, but Edwards, he's been a threat on that right-hand side so far. Almiron comes across, could go for goal here. Instead he goes for Saba. Lugjanidze inside the area, drops his shoulder, gets his cross in. That one's going to travel all the way through. Edwards sets himself, lofted back in. Lofted, what a save from Coronel. Top class goalkeeping. Mayumba playing that ball in behind. Latte goes for goal. Another big save from Coronel. He's been the star of the show. But Atlanta have taken control. Moranchuk creating a yard. He's blocked by his own teammate. The second effort. I'll tell you what, that was a lot closer than it looked. And Coronel's made another save.
For him to give a little bit more, and so far in this first half, he's done just that. He's been lively. He's found more touches of the ball, but for me, it's the areas he's picking up the ball.
Left footed delivery incoming. Whipped around towards the far post, header on target. Comfortable save. Will really please the coaching staff in terms of the defensive work they've done as well. Atlanta United. Valencia goes down. Rather needless free kick to give away there from Edwards. Valencia was going away from goal. Well, the player comparison is presented by Celsius. Almiron trying to win it back. Now can drive at that defensive line. Miggy Almiron. Miggy Almiron goes for goal. That one the most comfortable of the saves so far for Carlos Coronel. And that defensive line from Red Bull New York just a couple of yards deeper, knowing that he has that left foot and of course doesn't beat the first man. Saba whipping this one in. Nothing like that far post. Turns. Faces up. Oh, a little bit of skill to get beyond Edwards. Still nothing land. Good recovery from the defender. Really good from Edwards. He was beaten and he managed to find a way back.
Good recovery by Edwards, using the touchline to his advantage.
Corner kick delivered, this time left-footed. That's going to be out of play. Forsberg. Delivered in towards the far post. Forsberg delivers in. Gregerson with the header clear. Not fully clear though. Scrambled Stroud. It's going to fall for Elu. And he blasts over. Biggest opportunity so far for Red Bull New York.
Good ball, initial ball in from Emil Forsberg. Now it's just a crashing of bodies. Red Bull doing a decent job of keeping the play alive. Just watch at the bottom of your screen, because if this ball falls to Ayla, he has time, almost maybe 2 balls.
Scares in. Leon Almiron. Marunchuk, Cobb, can he get there? He is going to get there. Numbers inside the area and behind Lobjanidze.
From a defensive standpoint.
Slish taken down by Choupo-Moting, just coming in from behind, and that's going to be a booking. Ball played out wide here for Cobb. A couple of crossing opportunities. This one into the back of Edwards, hasn't delivered. Red Bull New York will be the happier of the sides going away from home. Well, they get a point. Atlanta United ruining those missed chances in the first half, Mo, where they were dominant, unable to break through, and went at the best again in the second half. They have to settle for a point.
All right, and as you can see, basically New York Red Bulls 0, of course, Atlanta United 0. Okay, there was a lot of things to talk about, of course, even after the game, of course, for Julian Hall, he made his first career start, became the third youngest player in franchise history to make his first career start behind Eddie Gavin and Josie Altidore at 16 years, 349 days old. Carlos Coronel, basically a man in the match, okay? 150 career appearances for the New York across all competitions in tonight's match. He becomes the second goalkeeper in franchise history to accomplish the feat. Coronel recorded his second shutout of the season, and boys, that's his 36th of his New York career. Not too shabby. He's now posted shutouts in back-to-back matches. Midfielder Dennis Yenyar, he made his first MLS start since September 28th against NYCFC. And defender Sean Nealis moves into third place in franchise history for the most minutes played by defender. Get this, 11,510 minutes played. Guy's busy. So let's talk about who gets the hero, who's the GOAT here. Mark, although nothing happened in the goal, there was plenty of talking points in this match. What was your?
It popped up, and we had I think 7 shots, none on target, 6 shots, none on target,
right?
And I think it was 7. They had 10 shots, 6 on target. Cornell had to come up big. Bless you. He had to come up big, and he definitely, he's definitely the hero of the match. He kept that scoreline at 0, and I don't know that there's one particular guy I would point out and say was the go to the match. Mm-hmm. And we had a couple guys who didn't play their greatest. I agreed with Nick's assessment. I would not have pulled Hall at halftime. Mm-hmm. I know that Sandro was probably looking to change things up, put somebody else in, see if they couldn't get going. But I think you leave the kid in, you let him get the experience, you let him get the minutes. He had that opportunity, and yeah, we're all screaming, shoot, shoot, shoot. But again, 16-year-old kid. So
What are you gonna do?
I
What were you
mean,
doing at 16?
I watched kids on my like that I've coached on my team. They get going, they don't pick their heads up and realize there was nobody between them and the keeper, and they dribble to the corner. And then, like, you get to the end line, it's like, all right, did you run out of ideas or you ran out of space?
Nice.
It's like, oh, yeah, yeah, two of your teammates were wide open. You could have passed it. You could have taken a shot, and and on the reverse side, I mean, the last game that I coached with both of my boys, I mean, Matthew had somebody blast one from about 30 yards out and just point blank. I mean, this kid was breaking in. But instead of waiting to get closer, he decided to take a shot from distance. And Matthew, both hands, put the ball over the bar. And it was just, and he told me afterwards, he was like, I don't know what I did. Yeah, because it was an instinctual move that he made to make the save. Coronel was on his game. We did not see him at his best in the first game. And I think that's why he let that one goal get in. But
Second game.
Yeah, second game. Sorry, but we I was looking at the conference standings. I didn't look at the West, but just the East. For in goals for, we are tied for 12th with Nashville and Montreal. All right, that's it. I mean, there's not much underneath the three of us. One more team. Goals against, we are first in the Eastern Conference. We've allowed one goal. Everybody else is allowed two or more. All right.
That's it.
Yeah, and our goal differential puts us fourth with DC, Charlotte. We're all the people in the group that are screaming about our defense, talking about Valencia's not doing this, and Dylan was Dylan played a solid game defensively.
Yeah.
Just didn't add anything offensively, and that's maybe not.
I saw them singling out Edwards. I'm like, huh?
Did
we not see the same game?
Yeah, he played a very solid second half. Came on, he did a great job, in my opinion.
He's coming off injury and he's doing this.
Yeah,
okay,
that's why maybe he doesn't get the start on Saturday, is because they're not going to put him out on the field to start the game. But he came in, he played an entire half, and he played well. He took care of his side of the field.
Yeah,
so
he added something with Forsberg too. There was a nice little give and go with.
Yeah. So I don't see the defense as our problem. I think we're fairly solid. Ayla had that chance. He didn't miss by a heck of a lot.
No.
All right.
No.
And I mean, listen, Guzan is Guzan. He stands on his head against us at times. I mean, he was right there.
He stands on his head against everybody, which basically shows you the core weakness of the Atlanta defense. Which, I mean,
it's not their keeper.
Right. I mean, get past the keeper, you pretty much, if you can somehow resist and, keep their high scoring talent quiet, despite you can get past Brad Guzan, which we know he's done. He's done it for the national teams. He's done it when he was over in England. He's done it when he was in Italy, and he's doing it here. The guy's a veteran keeper, and he knows how to keep balls out the net. However, he's a little bit on the old side, so he can be beaten. And so, if you keep banging on that door often enough, you get
well. But that's the thing. Like I said, 7 shots, but none on frame.
Nick, is it time for the fans to panic? Because 3 games in, your defense is slowly gelling. You only gave up 1 goal. That's it so far. What do you like, or what do you like about this? I mean, it's early, right? We usually don't really judge this team until like 10 games in, but there's got to be this. I saw your exquisite assessments and everything, but nothing for me to disagree on. But I have to ask. I mean, what would you want to tell the group right now about this team?
Relax, wait, let everybody get healthy. Let everybody build a chemistry. It's coming along. It's a work in progress. 11 guys on the injury list. three of them would be starters. Lewis Morgan, Harper's gone. Bogus will be based. Let's look at this. Like everybody's getting upset. Let's look at our forward list. We're at 7 forwards on the lineup. You got your first guy, Chupo, he's still there. Lewis Morgan, not there. Bogus, who you signed to be a backup to Chupo,
Right.
injured, should be back sometime in April. Julian Hall, 16, made his first start with the team. Mohamed Sofo, who scored the goal last week, he's 18. Got a minor neck. They didn't want to rush him, which we're playing
But
on.
Lisa, there's always a reason to panic.
He's there. He didn't rush him to play a game. And
Right.
then you have Serge Nagoma, who's coming back from a million injuries. If this kid's ever healthy, so you're basically playing with 2 forwards the whole, and then you're playing with midfielders of Carvalho, who's still not 100% from his foot injury last December, still working his way up to 100%. And then you have Stroud, who last year, remember, he blew out his ankle. And that was one of the nastiest things we saw at. And you have Edelman, who gets stepped on, run over, abused on the field, and still comes out there. So overall, we're coming along. It's a slow build. Now, when everybody starts getting healthy and more incorporated into the team, we'll keep scoring goals. The one thing you should like is the addition of Chupo, who, yes, he hasn't scored yet. That's the major knock. Well, we haven't scored yet. Well, he does all the other minor things that you see on the field that we need.
Holding up the ball, holding up the play, getting in position to make those shots.
The play when Ellie cleared the ball right to Chupo, and Chupo held the ball, chested it right to Forsberg, right to him for Forsberg to spring out, and there was a 2-on-1 break going the other way. The guy doesn't grab him and just grab Forsberg's jersey, basically try to take it off him as he's running. You have 2-on-1 going the other direction, but you see the little things that Chupo has done that we weren't getting last year from any of our forwards.
Nope.
Those little
things. It was run to the net, take a shot, and then sulk back to the midfield. Yeah.
So I'm not disappointed with the team. I'm just saying it's a work in progress. Team 3, we've only got 270 minutes of action here, guys. Let's take it easy. We have 1 home game, and we get 2, and we haven't played anybody that's considered. We played Cincinnati, who was a top 5 team in the MLS.
Oh, don't wait a minute. Before you go there, you and I took one good look at the schedule when it first came out, and we said, "Oh, we got a rough stretch." I mean, we got a rough stretch. But then again, that's normal for a team that won the East last year. So they're going to give them, the gauntlet, like it or not. I mean, we got some big boys to face on after this. So it ain't done yet. So if we can somehow win 3 out of the next 3 games, we're leapfrogging people left and right. So I agree with you guys. It's too early to panic. It's way too early. I mean, 3 games. If Miguel was here, he'd say the same thing. You don't win the championship in March. There's no such thing as that, but you can wind up losing it in March. But I think they're right there. But the simple fact that you only gave up 1 goal, that's it, in 3 games. Now, if they still only gave up 1 goal after 10 games, now you're saying something. Now you're saying, okay, we got an elite defense. Not too many teams can actually say that, even if they have a lot of goals. But we interviewed a couple of games back. We interviewed Forsberg about Chupo, and he said it's a play in the day. I'm not worried about Chupo. The goals will come. It's going to happen. The goals will come. As long as he keeps feeding him the ball, it's going to come a time where he's going to turn around and do what he's got to do. So I'm not worried about it. I mean, people are worried about scoring. Of course, it's soccer. If you don't score more goals than the other guy, then, of course, you're not doing anything right. But if you're keeping teams off the scoreboard, you're doing something. You definitely. It's not like you're not sitting on your you collect the backsides. Okay, you're doing something. Let's put a final. Let's put a final word on this. So so we took care of Atlanta. They're coming back. The next time we see them, we'll be back over at the Cathedral. But now we got to face a team that, well, for all intents and purposes, loves to give us fits. Y'all remember this crew. The last time we faced those dudes, we won the Eastern Conference Championship when a lot of folks felt that either we wouldn't or have no business to. Mark and Nick will talk about Orlando City SC, our next opponent at Sports Illustrated Stadium. But first, final scores for week 3 of Major League Soccer. Okay, keep a close eye, of course, on that start time. It is at 2:30, not 7:30. We don't want you guys to miss the game, of course, because it's going to be an afternoon tilt. So it'll be our first, first in a while. Let's talk about Orlando City. Orlando City is a club that we beat, of course, last year over at Inter and Co Stadium in the Tragic Kingdom, as they say. And while that team basically it gives us a whole lot of fits, and we're going to be facing them on Saturday afternoon. We had a pretty good record against these guys. I mean, they're always tight-fisted, chippy affairs. You usually come on top, but it's going to be always close, okay? Head-to-head in the entire series, 11 wins, 9 losses between the two. At Harrison, 6-4-1. This is going to be their 24th meeting in all competitions. Last win versus Orlando, y'all remember that game back in June, okay? John Tolkien with the wonder strike on a free kick, and that was all she wrote. Nick, tell everybody about what's happened to Orlando City the last time we faced them, because other than Facundo Torres, who was rumored to go somewhere else, he did. They've made a multitude of changes and have gotten stronger.
Well, Orlando, as usual, is a team that starts off slow and builds themselves up. By the time June comes around, you don't want to face them. This year, they started off with one win and 2 losses. They scored 7 goals. They've conceded 8. You're getting them at the right time, actually. They're not really gelled yet. They haven't figured out everything, all the new working pieces, because their main guy last year, Facundo Torres, went to Brazil for $15 million, and
$15 million. Wow,
big transfer there. Nicholas Ladero, another key component that was coming off the bench for them, he went to Houston. He on a free transfer, and their other main striker, Duncan McGuire, he's injured right now, but he's still a part of the team. But he's also, as we said, injured. They brought in Marko Palisic from Croatia as a DP. He's come in and started off on a great start. 2 goals, 1 assist to begin the year. They also brought in this kid, Nicholas Rodriguez, as a U22 signing. He's a linchpin. He's fast. He can run by anybody. And they brought back to the league Andrew Atiesta, who's already got an assist. The former LAFC player who's been around the league. To go along with the guys that are still always there, Pedro Galesi in goal. The guy is one of the top 5 goalies in the MLS. Rodrigo Schlegel, Robin Johansson, 2 strong center backs that know how to pass out of the back. So pressing doesn't always work against these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Have up top Luis Muriel from Atalanta from last year. Even though he hasn't really lit up the scoreboard with them in the years since he's been here, he's got 5 goals and 5 assists last year. He's got 1 goal and 1 assist to start the year. The guy knows what he's doing. The guy played in Italy. He's a good scorer. They turned the team over to Martin Ojeda, who came over last year. He's the new number 10, taking over for Facundo Torres. He does exactly the same thing that Forsberg does. Plays on the left, runs right by you, can create. He's a handful to play. He can go all over the field and play all over the place. You got your handful. Then you have 2 veteran guys that are always there, Cesar Araujo and Ivan Angulo. These guys have been in the system for forever. They know what they're doing. They're coached correctly. You don't want to face them at the end of the year. Thank God we're getting them early. and we're getting them twice early before the end of May. So when everything's not totally gelled yet. So I'm glad that we're getting them now when they're not totally 100%.
Right. Now, Mark, of course, we face these guys historically, left and right, and wonderful. Gillespie has always been, well, how should I put this? A pain.
Annoying.
He's annoying. He's owned us, in many occasions. He's the type of guy that you think that you can get possibly one or two based on their defense, and then he dons his Superman cape, and then he stones the living daylights out of him.
I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago we lost 3-0 at home.
Yeah,
and he was wandering around in front of my section and 2 sections over, signing hundreds of autographs. So our fireworks display was delayed, and a third of it was cut off. And my wife and I mean, that's why my wife came out to the game, was for the fireworks show, along with seeing the game. But that was like our and Gillespie had to rain on that. Bad enough we lose the game, but then you're going to ruin the fireworks show for us. And then there was an issue with him getting off the team bus, going out and signing more autographs. So the bus didn't even.
He loves his fans.
Yeah, well, that's great. But
imagine if he signed with us, he wouldn't leave the building.
Yeah. But I think the bottom line is he doesn't play for us. So listen, we have had our share of troubles with them. I agree with Nick. We're lucky in the sense that we're getting them before they're really set. But then again, we're not exactly firing on all cylinders either. I was looking at their first 3 games, because they have, I think it's 8 goals scored, 7 allowed. Or no, sorry, they scored 7 and allowed 8. They allowed 4 to Philadelphia. Now Philadelphia's 3-0. They're just off to this amazing little start here. They 4-2 to Toronto, the win. And then first game on the road, they lose 2-1. And Gillespie looked lost at times on Saturday. It's just not his usual self. I'm hoping that repeats itself Saturday at the Cathedral, because we could stand to get a couple past this guy, bring him back down to earth where he belongs, because he sometimes plays otherworldly against us. And
he is a showman too. When he makes that big save, he will show it up in your face.
Oh yeah, no, it's and he's not afraid to run his mouth either. Well, that's, I guess, the beauty of being in the north end. Yeah, I can hear the opposing keeper in the first half when he's talking to his defenders, and it's amazing how much. I don't think I can recall another keeper. Maybe Guzan is the only other one. And Guzan's got he's got years of experience and
Matt
years
Freeze
of accomplishment.
is Matt Freeze.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about him. Let's not talk about him.
But
no. Willis doesn't say a lot, but he, solid guy.
Joe right? Willis, yeah, him too.
But Gillespie is still somewhat young, So I look at it as an opportunity. I think we need to jump on them early. I think the old thing. If we punch them in the face, we get the goal in the first 15 minutes. I think then we control the tempo. We play the game.
Well, here's the thing. I agree with you about the punch in the face. How are you going to be able to do that when you don't have, your fire product?
Somebody. We say it all the time. Somebody's got to step up.
Is this the match that Chupo finally breaks out? I mean,
I think
maybe that's my question right now.
It's been a warm up. He's gotten there. Listen, the shots he's taken haven't missed by much. Okay, that one shot he put over the bar, that was 6 inches, 8 inches,
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of why
others he's hit the post. So it's not others are slammed off the post. So it's not like he's knocking on the door. He is. Okay, much to everyone's detriment. What's that saying? I don't want to hear about XG. I want to hear about actual goals. So, for some fans, they what can we say? I mean, I understand how some people feel about that. They lost the City 2-1. Okay, so now they're coming across across Jersey to go face us. overall, what are you looking for? Is if you're the Red Bulls, you had said that you got to come out hot. You got to come out the gate. You got to run these guys out the gym because they're weak defensively. We can handle ourselves as far as our defense. But then there's that little bugaboo. That bugaboo is that they don't have anyone up there to actually take the rock and take it to the hole. Sorry, I don't mean to use the basketball parlance because we're on March Madness, but you get my drift. We don't have somebody, yet to simply say, okay, enough's enough. Let's get some goals past these guys. Nick, do you see this as an overall issue going against this team?
No, I think Triple can handle it. I think Triple has shown enough already that he can lead them and finally break through. I think he needs a little help coming with him forward. I think you should see a better performance from Julian Hall. If Sofo might be available this game, might have another guy that can.
Would you sit? Okay, let me put your coaching hat on for just 1 second, guys. Would you sit Sofo, or would you play him if he's maybe 90 or 80%?
Sit him. Still early. We need him. Need him for later on. I'll still sit him.
Sit him.
It's a long season. As much as you probably want to get him in and get him playing, at the same time, let him be on the bench. Let him work his way back. There's no need to rush anyone back at this point. And like I said, I think Chupo is going to get his goal. I think it's coming. I think Hall will play better Saturday. Morgan, we don't know. He's still a couple weeks away from what it sounds like. So you just sort of have to keep paddling with what you got. And I think that there are guys on this team that are capable of scoring. And you could always, I know some people don't like the idea of playing more like, let's say single striker, because I don't know if Chupo can really run up top by himself. I think he does play better with someone to play off of him. So does he play, and maybe we load the midfield, put Wiki in, let him play, because we know Wiki can shoot.
Yeah.
Wiki's not afraid to shoot.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Mark's saying he can shoot. Nick's saying he's afraid to shoot. So which is it?
I said he's not afraid to shoot. Him and Harper, that was the one thing Harper had before he got injured. Both those kids were never afraid. They got an open shot, they're taking it.
They're taking it, right?
Not waiting for it.
That's the thing about Harper. You can't give that kid space, but yet they look at him and say, "He ain't gonna shoot." And next thing you know, he lets one loose from deep in the corner. Out of all the midfielders that they figured they put a body on, other than Edelman, is him. But yet, for some reason, they look at him and he ain't gonna shoot. Next thing you know, he's popping one from distance, which is kind of crazy.
And that's the other problem too is with the injury situation too. I'd like to see Doncor return to the lineup. Carballo is another one. He's on his way back.
They're a different team with him out there. They really are.
And it's funny too because even Saturday, I was a little annoyed when I saw that. I'm not going to get into it because we could spend an entire show talking about the people in the striped uniforms, and I'm not talking about the Atlanta players.
Okay.
It was bad. Okay. But when you see, this is just another case of Doncor was, the first few games he played, he was pumped up and he was getting yellows early, and you never want to see that.
No.
Omar's got the same thing. And it's just, he's getting a little too handsy, a little too rough early, getting that yellow card. And then you have to play timid because you get a yellow card 15 minutes in. You got to go another 70, 65,
65. Right?
Yeah. You're not playing your game.
Yeah, Valencia was basically shut down. The minute he got out the yellow card, he couldn't touch anybody online. He was afraid to touch anybody online.
Unlike Atlanta that could just basically foul at will.
She was bad as a ref, and we're not going to get into it because I couldn't take it anymore.
Good thinking.
I was glad to have, and I'm gonna pump up Matt and Steve, but I really wish that Apple TV would offer the away radio broadcast as an
Oh, I
option.
heard them. I heard. I mean, I've
That's
gotten
what I
into the
had on.
habit.
Yeah.
You know, I've gotten to the habit of, you know, because Keith Costigan, he's one of the good ones. He really is. Just, you know,
Yeah.
he's really one of the good ones. I mean, I first started listening and watching him when he was with Fox Soccer. You know, was a Fox Soccer channel. He's really good. He's really, really good. So, but I said, you know what? Let me hear, Matt and Matt and Steve. And the only way for me to do that naturally is go through the website, go through Mixlr, and then there you go. And they talked about it. They talked about how Tory was just letting things go, but yet being one sided, especially where you had someone, that one foul. You got try to take off his jersey right in front of you, and you kept your card in your pocket. That had me incensed. I'm like, Tory, come on. I mean,
No,
come on.
it was just
Nah.
shameless.
That was shameful. I mean, we know you're just like your husband. And your husband is like, for the former cop, by the way. He likes to let the guys, he likes to let the guys ball. He does. He only gets card happy when things get stupid. And I'm not saying that he is a peerless referee because he does have his moments, okay? But pound for pound, I see that she loves she's more suited for the female game rather than the men's game because if you're going to be a little shy about blowing the whistle on fouls that are right in front of you that they are, that everyone saw it. I don't know. From what I understand, each of these referees at Pro, they go through a post-game evaluation, and then they're graded on the calls that they make and the calls that they don't make. And I'm sure that she got an earful from either the coaches or from some of the referees themselves.
I'm sure Sandro let her have it because he's not afraid to.
Sandro was pacing up and down angrily like a madman. Okay, trying to say the right thing and not look like some sort of knuckle dragging, women hunting, hating stooge. Okay, so because it was just so apropos, right? That game also fell on the International Women's Day of all days, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to come out and say someone, say to her, give her the B word right out there, which would have echoed just basically over and over and over again.
See, look what you did. You started and you woke Lomre up.
Right. I mean, So I mean, Lomre's not here, so yes, I'm going to be the designated rant man here. Because that's it really killed me. I was looking at this, and I was like, Tory, babe, it's right in front of you. Right in front of you. It made me wonder, how in the world did you earn that FIFA accreditation? How? I mean, it's a mystery to me. How? I mean, I'm not questioning your skills or anything else, but come on.
That's the other. I mean, there's enough going on right now between the injuries, trying to get the newer guys to just understand.
And you got dudes up there trying to re-injure guys. I'm like,
and then for that, like just the multitude of non-calls, and then you're finally like, what? It was the 85th minute. She handed Chupo a yellow, and I'm like,
oh, now
that deserved a card. I mean, like, and it was just like, it was a very frustrating game from that point.
To me, the capper was remember the set piece on the 82nd minute from the Rebels. The Rebels are setting up for a set piece. Forsberg is getting on the ball. You see him about the setup. And then you see the usual pushing and shoving that goes on as everybody lines up. And then she comes running over. Okay, would you please quit it? Now you're putting your foot down, lady? What were you the whole first 80 minutes when everything was going on in this first?
Right.
Now you want to put your foot down?
Now you want to restore order. Now you now you want to say now. Wait a minute, boys. Wait a minute, boys. No shoving. No shoving. No pushing.
You see,
Come on.
You see Forsberg basically tell her, "You want me to hand them the jersey for crying out loud? What's going on here today?" And she was like,
tried to take that jersey off him
as he was running. Yeah.
You know, I mean, as he was running, you got Edelman being trucked, like you got this guy draped all over him like a gorilla in a 5-piece suit, trying to pile drive my boy through the turf. Nothing. I'm like, oh, come on. Come on. I said, please get out of that building in one piece. The ref is losing their mind. I'm like, all right, you know what? Poor Sandro was like probably beside himself. You know, when the camera was shown on him for just a little bit, you see the man pacing up and down real quick, like he usually would. I mean, which is probably the reason why I'm going to miss that view when we were sitting there at the Cathedral, right in front of the benches, and you can just see, you know, how he was upset and everything as he would pace up and down, go, you know, yell at the coaches, go pace more. I'm going to miss that, but of course we're going to be on the other side. So here we go. Orlando versus, of course, the New York Red Bulls. How do you see this game, you know, going? What's the final score coming to? Mark, you're going to start first.
Oh man. You know, I honestly think that we're going to have to find somehow, some way to get this crew to produce, and I think
that's the question. Right? That's the question.
I think if all works out, if these guys can work this week and get on the same page and, you know, work together, I say we win 2-1.
Nick?
I agree with Mark 2-1. That was my prediction early. I'm going with Mark 2-1. Chupo gets one. I'll go with Forsberg gets the other one on the PK.
I'm going to go 3-0. Chupo going to get his. Someone's going to break loose. And Coronel is going to have yet another game. It's going to get tight in the beginning, okay? Both guys are basically going to, you know, do their usual thing. Gillespie is going to build up his wall. Coronel's going to build up his. And then somewhere around before the end of the first half and probably in the middle of the second, as we saw with NYCFC, I don't know what's with Orlando, but their defense has a tendency to break down late into games. And that all because of extended pressure, because that's what City did. They kept up the pressure on and on and on, got their goal and got another one down late. So that's how they was able to beat, you know, Orlando City at Yankee Stadium. It'll be
I think that the
years.
key word there, though, was Yankee Stadium.
Right.
You know, that's one of the things I think that the Pigeons have.
They hate that term, by the way.
Yeah, well, I don't care. That's why I'm saying it. All right, they have the choice. I'll either call them that or the Smurfs. So
I think the Smurfs would be better off.
I mean, you know, whatever you want to call those you know, ungrateful tenants from across the river that rent our space when they can't play at the Cathedral of Baseball.
No.
They desecrate that field by playing soccer on it. It's disgusting.
Well,
but you're talking about they do have an advantage playing on the smaller field because they've become accustomed to it. Mm-hmm. We actually have to adapt to it as a visiting team. So the other teams coming in, nobody's used to playing on a small field like that. I used to laugh when Red Bull 2 would have to go to Louisville City because they played on a baseball field initially. Now they have a beautiful stadium that's soccer specific, and they're in USL. Why can't, you know, let's not get into the stadium discussion.
Yeah,
but you're playing on a smaller field. It pushes the action centrally, and you know because you really can't go that far wide. There's nowhere to go.
You got to go vertical.
Yeah, so you have to play over the top. You have to, and listen, they kept after it. I mean that's the one goal that came off. That Gillespie missed it. It hit the post and took just a rough turn for them because the ball was just laying in the 6-yard box. I mean, they were joking on the broadcast saying that's the easiest goal he'd ever score in his career. Yeah, the ball was laying 2 yards away from the goal line. How hard was it to kick it across?
Marla could have scored it. Come on.
You didn't say that, really? Did you just say that? That's rough. That's rough. Yeah, but you're right. He would have. He could have scored on that one. But that's, and the second goal was just a lot of hard work. Guys going after second balls. Well, who does that remind you of? That's the way we play.
Yeah.
We get after it. If we get after it, I don't know. I would agree with the 3-0, but I think we pull out a 2-1. That's just
the reason why I said 3-0 because I feel there's going to be 3 goals in that game.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to get the 2. I don't know who's going either us or them, but I'm going to play it safe and say we're going to score all 3 goals because
I'll enjoy that from my couch.
One of the things I'm liking is the defense is now beginning to gel, and they're going to be comfortable at home. They're going to be playing against a team that's going to be a very angry side because they got. They didn't like the fact that they dropped the decision late to City, okay, and they're going to be Orlando City is going to be ready. They're going to be ready to deal with that, and Galatians can say, okay, I'll just stand behind this wall, they'll stand behind this wall and just let you guys pound on it. The one thing that the Red Bulls have on their side is other than the offense, the only thing that I'd say the only negative would be the offense. Who is going to pick up offensively? Who are they going to rely on? And I'm hoping it's Chupo, and I'm hoping it's Forsberg, and I'm hoping that whoever else is. But one of those 3 guys up front is going to have to charge up. If Hall starts, I'd say give him the nod. I honestly believe to give him the nod and see what he can do. Because you're not going to see what you're going to get by him coming off the bench or anything else. Speaking of young guns, there was just more than one team over in Atlanta, or in this case, it was Kennesaw, Georgia, and that happened to be New York Red Bull 2 over at, what kind of a name is this facility? Fifth Third Bank Stadium. You don't know if you're 5th or you don't know you're 3rd. It sounds like who's on first. But they beat Atlanta United 2 by a score of 1-0. Andy Rojas. Keep that name in mind, okay? He's 19 years old. 19. Playing in his first season with the Red Bulls 2. He joined them after a loan from CS Herediano this past offseason, and he made his MLS Next Pro debut on that win. He opened up his account. So first game, first goal for that club. And the reason why is to keep an eye out. Something that you brought out, Mark. This kid can ball. This kid can flat out ball, and he did his thing. Against Atlanta United 2. Any thoughts on that, my man?
Well, like I said, this has been we've seen a couple of the younger guys come up. We've seen Valencia come up. We've seen Hall come up. Obviously Mohamed Sofo, he gets a goal.
Yeah.
We have several guys who were really killing it last year on offense, and Red Bull 2 had. They were one of the top scoring teams in Next Pro. The problem they had was they leaked like a sieve. Their defense was horrible. And if anybody questions Aiden Stokes as a keeper, the guy had one of the highest save percentages in Next Pro. Had the highest number of saves. That's because he was facing, shot after shot every game. And he had to stand on his head to try to keep the team in it.
I think they improved the defense a little this year.
Yeah, this year between a couple of the kids they brought up and a couple of signings, they brought in some people with some experience to work with these kids. So that's one of the things that I'm hoping. I think
Curtis Afori is back.
Yeah,
that'll be a big help.
And like I said, he missed all of last season.
Yeah,
pretty much. So, and he was out towards the end of the previous season. Actually, we had seen him and AJ at the watch party in 2024. to start the season. The both of them were there signing autographs. And I got a chance to talk to Curtis, and I said, so what's the prognosis? And he said, I probably won't see the field till towards the end of the season. And he says, I'm hoping next year that things just, keep getting healthy, keep progressing. And he's positive about it. And he, unfortunately, at the start of his 2 career, he was a yellow card magnet. The ref just seemed to always find him. Like he commit a foul, like the ref's eyes were right on it. It's not like
he's a physical dude. I mean,
he
of
is.
course.
And he's not, and the funny thing is he's not a big guy. I mean, size wise,
physical.
But he doesn't, he Jersey guy. That's what my wife says, right? Jersey guy. I said, yeah, he is. He's gonna let you know he's in town.
Right.
You're not just walking past him and he's gonna wave hi. No, he's gonna be like, oops, sorry, did I hit you? Did you run into me? Yeah. Yeah. No, he was like I said, I love watching him,
Say it again. Say it again, Nick.
He was actually, when he was healthy, he did score a very impressive goal last year. He even had like one ball. I remember again with an RB2 when him and Roland were working together. He rocketed one into the upper 90 from like a bullet shot. Like, whoa, where did this come from? Oh, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Ori.
No, I think he started out when he was first signed. When he came up, he was actually playing in the midfield, and they rotated him to being a back because of necessity. They needed bodies, because you yank Tolkien, you yanking all these other kids play up at the first team, and you don't. And some of the, and again, this is part of the process too. And we've we'll sort of touch on this for a second. Everybody screams and yells about, these kids, why are we playing such young kids? And the whole process, and Philly has done a great job of it as well. They haven't had, let's say, the same success we have, but this is a business. At the end of the day,
and keep in mind, many of those kids that Philly signed are from our area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
so that's
we sort of share, like there's a part of Jersey where like there's an invisible line. They're not supposed to sort of cross that line, but they sort of poach a little bit just over it. And we do the same thing. There are guys that we bring in that are just a little further south than Philly likes us to go looking. But at the end of the day, we're bringing in all these kids, and it's a matter of filtering through. You take 300 bodies, and you have all these kids going to summer camps, winter camps, all these other training camps that they set up during the course of the year. And all these kids get graded. My kids are in the system too. They were graded for the 2 years that they went to camp. And they look at these kids. If they see potential, those are the kids that they approach to bring in to play at the academy. And you work through your way up through the academy. By the time you get to 15, 16-year-olds. If you have a few of these kids you feel have the skills to take that next step, you're signing them to a homegrown contract. You're signing them to Red Bull too. Well, out of all those, how many will
actually make it to the first team? Right.
Now we're seeing more of that because I think we've had a better batch of kids come through in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
There's just been some real quality. And I think that's part of the overall development. Obviously, we went through changes a few years back with the academy staff, and it's obviously making a difference. So we have people coming up. And I love watching these kids. I think a lot of people should go out to MSU. If you're a season ticket holder, you do get free tickets. I get 2. I love going. Sometimes I go one of the kids. Sometimes I go just by myself.
Nice,
listen. It sucks that it's Sunday night, but
I have to go to the opening game. I don't have a choice.
Garry sometimes can't make the train going home.
I have to go.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right, we're almost reaching at the end of our everybody's happy with that happen. So let's talk about what, as they say, what have we learned so far? This is the first time we actually said it this year, but this is going to be the regular segment. Mark, what have we learned in that game versus Atlanta versus New York Red Bull?
That pro referees still need to learn how to do their jobs. I think we saw some growth. We know where we need help. But again, third game this season, put the panic button away.
All right, Nick, what have we learned today? Can't quite hear you. Say it again.
We're now going for this. That performance yesterday was on Saturday night. What gets you to the playoffs? Win rounds.
All right. The one thing I've learned today is it's really too soon to make any panic buttons right now. Of course, I did say about expectations, and the expectations are pretty high, despite that there really shouldn't be any. But it's nice to have them. But let's have a little bit of realistic perspective because it's a long season. We've already said this right from the beginning, and we're not kidding. There's going to be a lot of games played, and we'll see what this team is when it's all said and done. I have a good feeling that we're going to be right in the thick of it when it's there. Of course, next week, the Viper returns along with Lonray as we, of course, get ourselves ready for Toronto FC as we review the game versus, of course, Orlando City, and we will all invite you to join us. Don't forget, if you missed this show, you can always catch it on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course on Spotify.com, which of course you can be able to watch the show literally from beginning to end at your leisure. And all new episodes are loaded the very next day. So, one more game.
I forgot one thing. Happy Mario Day.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Today is the unofficial holiday for Nintendo's mascot, Mr. Mario. Because I don't know if you realize, but that's his first and his last name.
The first Mario.
It's Mario, and his brother is Luigi Mario. Yes,
Mario
this is what happens when you have 17-year-olds that love and enjoy everything Nintendo. So you learn all these wonderful little tidbits. But happy Mario Day.
I'm waiting for the day when they bring back Nintendo Baseball, one of the greatest baseball games of all time, at least for me. But that's a long time ago. Folks, thanks for joining us for the last hour. Of course, as always, if you want to let us know how we did. Of course, RBDG, the podcast, one word, at gmail.com. Of course, the email address. Drop us a line, ask some questions, let us know how we did. And, of course, we answer all our emails. From our coach, Nick Lanos, and myself, Garry Redmond, thanks very much for joining us. We will see you next week. Good night and goodbye.